First, let's break down what does a normal home inspection look like. What can a buyer expect out of that, or a seller too?
Well, we've got a few different things. So one is, if you are a first-time home buyer, you're literally my favorite person to work with. Because you're scared. I know that. Like, you are scared to death. It's a huge investment, and you want to make sure you're making the right decisions. That's one of the big reasons why I chose this, is because it does make a genuine difference in somebody's life. And the truth is, if you get a bad home inspection report, and I don't mean the results of the report, I mean just a report where things were missed, we'll get into the other stuff later, but if you get something like that, you can end up making a bad decision because you just don't have all the information. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what my parents did. So our goal is to provide you as a home buyer with all of the available information at our fingers, right? Mm-hmm. We want to be able to put everything in your hands so that when you're making that final yes or no decision, it's
eyes wide open.
It's an easier decision to make, Then we also work with a lot of investors because, Palm Beach, Martin County, we have a ton of investors that call us from Virginia, New York, Connecticut, mm-hmm. and say, hey, we're looking at buying, this block of duplexes. Can you go check that out? Those are fun, it's definitely different. The expectation is way different.
What makes those expectations different?
Well, so they're looking at it as an investment opportunity, not a place where they want to live. Right. So what you do with that is you come in and you basically give one report that is a complete overview, right, of the investment. Then you break down into individual units and you start talking about what's needed, either on an update basis, whether they have old appliances, holes in the walls, roof leaks, stuff like that. You break that down on a case-by-case basis so that they can then take that back and look at the amount of money that they're going to need to put in and figure out what their ROI is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's what they care about, right? And it also depends on the area in which they invest. If they're investing in higher end places, which surprisingly we have a lot of higher end investment down here. If they're buying a $2 million investment property, they want it to be a certain criteria, right? Mm-hmm. Versus if they're buying an apartment block, they go, okay, well, we're going to rent these out for $2,000 a month. We can throw $30,000 at it, get everything updated, and then it'll be fine, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of that difference. It
spreads out the risk,
right? But it's, from my perspective, it's knowing the expectation for the purchase. Is it home? Is it investment? And if it's home, is it a 15-year home? Is it home for the next couple of years, and then you're going to turn it into a rental?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have all that stuff down here. So really having the conversation with the buyer up front and understanding what their expectations for the property is determines a lot of what goes into our report. You're mm-hmm. still going to get the base facts, because the facts are the facts. But then we tailor a lot of it to the person that's actually buying.
Got it, because some things, a homeowner who's going to stay there for 15 years is going to care a lot more than an investor.
Right.
Right.
Well, not only that, if it's home, I ask them what their circumstances of life are. Do you have kids? Are you going to have kids? Is there a pool?
That's crazy.
Because if there is, there are certain things that I'm going to put into the report that I wouldn't necessarily put in, for safety features and just general maintenance ideas, things that you need to stay on top of mm-hmm. in order to make sure that your house doesn't have problems down the line.